Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Dia Cynthia. In this occasion, I will presentation about how can we vary the activities we do. There are several variations of learning activity. First, reading a text and then answering question on it. They are have two versions in reading a text and then answering question on it. Number one, conventional version. The steps are teach a few words from the text, and then students read the text. Then students read comprehension questions and answer them individually. And then answers are checked in pairs or in plenary. You correct or explain as necessary. Teaching Objective 1 to encourage students to be more active and less dependent on you. And then variation version. Change the teacher and student role, so instead of students being taught the vocabulary, they go ahead and read the text. If they have any vocabulary problems, they consult dictionaries, ask each other or circle the word they don't know. They only ask the teacher for things they can find out elsewhere. Teaching Objective 2. Perhaps your students had comprehension question, but you still need to check that they have understood the text. Okay, we are going to detection variety. Conventional version. Choose a text students have not seen before. Read the whole text out loud once. Read the text out loud again in small chunk or sense group. And then students write the text down as you dictate it, and students swap text and mark them against a perfect copy or give in their dictations for you to mark. Variation, change teacher and student role. You become a robot and the students are your controllers. It works like this. Choose a text that student might have seen before but which is funny or interesting. Teach word or punctuation such as full stop, comma, etc. And phrases such as hang on, what was the word after. Warn students that you will be reading at high speed. They must use the presses on the board to stop you and get why they need to write the text down correctly. Thus, the goal changes from testing knowledge of sound and symbol correspondences to oral communication. Start reading aloud at high speed. Students stop you, you answer a question, and etc. Until the whole text has been written down by students. Pairs of students check with each other and ask you about anything they need in order to write the text perfectly. Okay, we are going repeating after the teacher variety. Conventional version. First, new language is made and the meaning explained. Second, student listen carefully. Third, say the new language perhaps once or twice slowly and then at natural speed, and then ask students to repeat it. 4. Students repeat chorally or in pairs or group or individually. And last, correct where necessary and continue this cycle until students' utterances are standardized. Teaching objective to give the students fun and choice. Variation change the step and cognitive process by doing the activity as above, except the students are encouraged to do one of the following. Shut their eyes as they listen to your voice. Practice saying the new language mentally or sort of voice once or twice. And then practice saying only those parts they really like the sound of. This changes the student's role. Practice saying it with varying volume, pitch, or emotional. Practice saying it like a just dance, snapping fingers and exaggerating the rhythm. Mimic action as you speak. Okay, we are going to number 3. Copying from the blackboard. Conventional version. After being taught some new language, students copy sample sentences from the board. Teaching objective to involve students in making language choices so that they will be able to use new language for their own purpose. Variation change the steps and thus level of difficulty and the cognitive process involved. After working with some new language, write up all its parts on the board, but in random order. Encourage students to read the words out loud to make either the original patterns or unacceptable variations, such as she likes to have a good read. Allow time for fine-tuning and questions. Students write down their prepared versions while you go around checking. Okay, we are going to varieties, reading a dialogue and then role playing it. Conventional version. Students meet a dialogue, perhaps in a textbook, read it and discuss it in plenary. Students are paired up, each take the part of one character. Students read a lot in character. And then students then swap roles and read again while you walk around listening, correcting, and helping. Teaching objective to increase the number of meaningful exchanges between the students. Variations change the topic and the step which, in turn, will change the level of challenge and other features of the activity. For example, you or the students could choose a human relations problem. Some examples could be feeling when you're not chosen for a team, feeling when you're not asked on an outing by a friend, and temptations to shoplift, relationship between a class and an overstrict or overlax teacher. Work with the class to generate a storyline and to identify and flesh out some characters, discuss and not possible dialogue exchange, pairs or small group role play the situation, discuss the language content and the empathy gains by students with the character they role play. Students change role and have the chance to gain empathy with a different character. And the last, have a final discussions about what can be done in situation of the type chosen. In this discussion, students need to be out of role and thus in a genuine problem solving rather than adversarial mode. Okay, we are going to checking homework around the class. Conventional version. The teacher called on students one by one around the class to read out their answer to exercise set for homework. Variation, change the step and student role, call on the first students, but then after they have answered, ask them to nominate the next students and so on, so that students are nominating each other. This way they will have less idea of when their turn is coming and so will stay more involved. Okay, we're going to fill in gaps in a closed text. Conventional version. Choose a text and blank out one word in about every 6 so that the text in regularly gaps. Students read the text all the way through once. Students alone or in pair try to fill in the gaps. Students' answers are checking in plenary with discussion on why alternative choices are or are not possible for reasons of collocation, word class, tenses, etc. Variations change the material, the goal of the exercise, the step, and the correction policy. Choose the text and blank out words such as adjective and a verb, which could be replaced by many other words of the same type. Student presentation. Conventional version. Each student is given time to prepare a topic and possibly write it down. Each student told for a prearranged amount of time to the rest of the class about their topic. Variations change the step and student and teacher role so that students are more involved with the thoughts and are also glad of their participation throughout. Okay, we are going to memorizing. Give students some time in class or homework to memorize some new language, for example, a list of new words. Test students on the material and give them marks. The goals have been changed. You can change the organization of people and the step. After students have met some new language, put them into mixed ability groups of equal numbers. Give students time in class to memorize the new material. Tell them that when they are tested, their individual mark will be total and they will be given an average group mark. This is gained by dividing the total by the number of students in the group. Based on explanation, we can conclude that in changing the feature of certain activity for different reasons, maybe activity that only work in high-level class or with elementary school, or that are motivated or require more preparation time, and there are several variety of learning activity. They are read a text and then answering question on it, dictation, repeating after the teacher, copying from the blackboard, reading a dialogue and then role playing it, and checking homework around the class, filling in gaps in goals text, student presentation, and the last memorizing. Every time it changes some feature of an activity, goals, cognitive process, and other feature usually change dynamically and originally. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Thank you your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.